Hey guys, what is going on? So I just want to say I'm recording this video on Monday night, but it's probably going to come out on Tuesday. So when I say today in this video, I'm referring to Monday, which is yesterday, the day that you guys are probably watching this. Sorry for the confusion. Also, real quick, before I start this video, if you're new here, I just want to ask you to subscribe because I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the NFL season starts. So yeah, if you feel like subscribing, that would be awesome. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And yeah, let's just jump into this video about Daniel Jones. So I was listening to the radio in the car today, Monday, and a lot of people on the radio, on sports radio, were talking about how Daniel Jones should have played in the preseason game yesterday versus the Browns, and how, he needs to get his reps in. Now, not everyone was saying, he definitely needed to play yesterday, but the majority of the people I heard on the radio were saying Daniel Jones should have played yesterday. And this is my take on that. I spoke about this briefly in yesterday's reaction video to the game when we heard Daniel Jones wasn't going to be starting. But listen, Baker Mayfield didn't start yesterday for the Browns, and a lot of the Browns starters didn't play on defense. As we know, the Giants, they had joint practice with the Browns last week, and now they're going to have joint practice with the Patriots this week. And Joe Judge basically said, when asked why Daniel Jones isn't playing or didn't play yesterday, Sunday, he said because, we evaluated what these guys did in practice. There was only 1 day of rest, and we felt, they got enough work in practice. And in practice, Daniel Jones is facing those starters. He's facing those guys he's going to face in the regular season. And yesterday, he would have been playing against guys who are, fighting to make the roster. And I'm not saying, guys that are fighting to make the roster play dirty or whatever. They don't. But those guys are playing 110% because they need to make that roster, right? They know they're on the bubble and they know they got to make that roster. And it's just like, you want to weigh the benefits and the consequences of playing your starting quarterback in preseason when he's not going to be playing against starting guys. Does the risk of injury outweigh the benefits of actually starting and the reps that you're going to get versus those second string guys? It's live action. Like I said, quarterback doesn't get hit in practice, but in a preseason game, you're going to feel the pressure. You got to avoid sacks and all that. So the question I think was, listen, are the reps versus these second string guys more valuable than the risk of injury? And I think the Giants just, went on the side of caution. And listen, I'm not opposed to a guy getting reps, right? But I believe in what Joe Judge is doing because he's the one day in and day out with this team, seeing how Daniel Jones is practicing, seeing how these starters are practicing, and deciding if they need to get more reps in games versus guys who are on the other team's roster bubble. They have two joint practices. They have joint practices with two different teams, more than two joint practices. I don't know the total number, but they got joint practice work versus two different teams, which means they're going to go against two different schemes, and they're going to get work versus the other team's first string guys. And I think that's just important to know when, you see Daniel Jones not playing in preseason, because it's not like he's not getting solid reps in practice. Yes, I know it's practice. And like I said yesterday, I want him to, feel the pressure in the game because, he kind of struggled with the pocket awareness last year and fumbling the ball and all of that. But you also have to, play it kind of safe. And, like I said, Baker Mayfield didn't play yesterday. No one's really talking about that. I mean, I guess because I live in New York, so, they're talking about the Giants. But, I don't think it was a bad move. Joe Judge did say that, Daniel Jones and the starters are going to play a half versus the Patriots, and that he might get, a series in the third quarter, but that would be it. So he is going to get his preseason reps in, but hopefully, it will be versus a lot of the Patriots starters. I don't know who's starting for the Patriots in game 3 of the preseason, but you hope that it's versus, these starting guys. And, like I said, guys that are trying to make the roster, they're not dirty players, but but they have something to prove. They are leaving it all out there on that field. And I know, well, I don't know because I've never played football, but I assume when you're playing football, it's really hard not to play, you know, all in. And I'm not saying, oh, the guys who know they're going to be starters aren't playing all in preseason games, but I just think there's maybe a little bit, you know, of a different level of intensity or something. I don't know if I want to say a different level of intensity, but I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like if you're fighting to make the roster, you're going to do anything to make the play. And not that you're trying to be a dirty player or anything. No, I'm not saying that at all, but let me know in the comments if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're trying to make this roster, you're going to put your body on the line to make this team. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, I do not think we should be criticizing Joe Judge for not playing Daniel Jones thus far in the preseason, because he is going to play a whole half versus the Patriots, and he is getting practice versus other teams and other schemes versus their first string guys. Yeah, the test week 1 versus the good Denver Broncos defense and the pressure they're going to be, it's going to be a big test, and there's a decent defense to face week 1. So you hope Daniel Jones is ready. But listen, I believe Joe Judge is making the right decision not playing him until the 3rd preseason game based on what they've been doing in their joint practices and who he would be playing against in these preseason games. So yeah, my only concern really is him going against pressure. I'm like a little nervous about that, how his pocket presence is and stuff, because that's something, you know, you really can't replicate until you're in that game situation because the quarterback is not getting hit in practice. But I believe in what Joe Judge is doing. I trust what Joe Judge is doing, and I don't think we should be concerned. Also, think about all the other starters who haven't been playing due to injury on the Giants. Like Tony, Galladay, Rudolph, all these guys are still not out there because of injury. And I think it's just better to, you know, Saquon also. I just don't think Saquon's going to play at all in the preseason. But Saquon, you guys know, like, that's obvious. But I just don't think he's going to play either way in the preseason. But think about all these guys Daniel Jones wouldn't be working with on offense too. And it just seemed like people on the radio were acting like, oh, what has Daniel Jones, you know, done? How does he deserve to, you know, not play in preseason games, you know? Like, he's not one of these veteran elite quarterbacks. Yeah, he's not one of these veteran elite quarterbacks, but I don't think Daniel Jones is sitting there going like, oh yeah, I'm good, coach. I don't need these preseason reps. It's a coach's decision, and I think he's trying to protect Daniel Jones. I think he is. He knows what's best for Daniel. I don't think Daniel's like, oh, I don't need these reps, guys. I think he thinks the opposite of that, but it's a coach's decision. The coach is going to do what he believes is best for the team, and he's going to run things the way he wants things to be run. And I just think the joint practices with 2 teams, like 2 different teams, is going to be good for Daniel Jones to see. I think that's going to be really useful because he didn't play in the first 2 preseason games. So that is it for this video, guys. Drop a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know what you think about Daniel Jones not playing in preseason games. Do you think it's an okay move? Do you not like the move? And make sure you subscribe, guys. Peace out.